Hi and welcome to the DE Physical Education Flip Learning videos. Hi, in this video we're going to learn how to make interactive games. These can be used for a variety of different activities. I often use them for multiple choice questions or revision style lessons. However, you can choose to use them however you wish. Be as creative as you like. So first thing you need to do is you need to have an idea. We're going to make an F1 racing game. The idea is going to be that the cars move along for each question that is answered, and the team with their car that gets to the end quickest wins. First, we need to find some cars. So if we go onto Google, type in F1 race cars, go for some cartoons, find one that you like. I'm going to go with these ones here. And we need to import that picture into PowerPoint. I want to make each car move on its own. So instead of using all 6, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crop my image. So I'll crop it down to this size here. And I want to remove the background. So if you go here, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either set transparent color here, or we can go remove background. And you can select to which extent you want to remove the white background. Right, so I've got my car here, and I want it to face the other direction. So another thing we're going to do is we're going to rotate it. So we come here and we flip it over. You can obviously move it in whatever direction you want, but we're going to flip it this way. Once we've got our car, you want to have some points that the students are going to answer, or the questions they're going to answer. So for example, we're going to have point 1, point 2, point 3. And then we're just going to name these. Question 1, question 2, question 3. So when we come to make the car move, the first thing we need to do is name the section of the car or the picture we're going to use. What we do is you click on the car, we then go to Format, and you go Selection Pane. So at the moment this isn't particularly that difficult because we've only got one car, but when you start adding different elements or different players, for example if you had 6 cars, it's much harder to try and figure out between each one. So what you're going to do is you click on it, go to Selection Pane, and it comes up with all these various different things. We're going to name it Red Car. We can also then pick which one we're going to call this, so question 3, just so we don't get confused when it comes to doing the animations. Again, like I said, at the moment it's not particularly that hard to decipher between the different pictures, but if you had 6 cars, it'd be much harder when we start adding in the transitions and the animations. So once you've done that, just hide that plane. Next thing we want to do is we want to go to animations. And we want to go to motion paths. There's 6 different ones you can use. You can use the computer generated ones where we'll just go in straight lines, or you can use custom path. I find it best to use a custom path when we're trying to make games because you can make it go wherever you want. All you do then is you drag or draw where you want the car to move to. So I want it to start there, and I want it to finish here at question 1. And then it'll give you an example of what the car's going to do. At this stage, if you were just to use your PowerPoint like a normal PowerPoint, once you click somewhere on the screen, the car's going to move. Which is great, but it's not going to help us when we start creating a game because the group might not have got the question correct. So what we want to do is we want to trigger it. So we click onto our animation here, so it's highlighted here in the animation pane, and we go trigger. Click of, and this is why we named them. So here it comes up with a list of the different things. So red car, whenever we click the red car, it's going to move along that path, or the first thing it's going to do is move along that path. So just for an example, when we come and we click on the car, it's going to move forward. What we then do is repeat this process for the other 3. So we click on the car, we click add animation. So this is the difference. We click add animation. So now you've got your first one. We want to add a second one in. What you need to do is you click on your car. Again, it's highlighted here. This is the original animation. So we want to add another one. So click add animation, and we're going to scroll down again to our motion paths, and we click custom path. This time we're going to start it where the last one finished, and we're going to drag to the next bit. Again, double click and it'll give you an example. Again, we want to trigger it. So it's highlighted here. So this one here is our first one. Our second one is here. We're going to go trigger on click of red car. So now what should happen, we click the first one because the group got the question right the first time. They get their second question right. We click it again and it moves on again. Same thing if you want to get to that third one, add animation, down to motion path, custom, start with the last one finished, and we can get it to go wherever we want. Double click and it'll finish. It'll give you an example. Same thing as before, make sure it's highlighted, click trigger, click of, red car. So you can see here it's got first click, second click, third click, or third trigger. So trigger 1, 2, and 3. Just double check it works. So first question, they get it right, it moves to the first one. Second question, moves to the second one. Third, moves to the third one. But obviously in the game, that isn't particularly that engaging. It's just moving along in a straight line. We want to make it look a bit more exciting, a bit more like a game, involving that gamification. So we've now got 2 races, and this is why it was important to name them. So just to name them again, we go Format, Selection Pane. We've got red car already named. And then we call this solid red car. So now we can decide between our 2. But again, this is still going in straight lines. We want to make it look even better. So we're going to add a background. We'll find a racetrack. So I found a racetrack here. We're going to save it. So save as F1 background, how to make a car. Save. There's 2 different ways you can do this. You can either copy and paste it in like this and just play everything on the top. So to make it go to the back, you go Format, Arrange, send to the back. I find this gets a little bit difficult when you've got everything going on. So when you've got everything going on, having it as a picture makes it a little bit difficult. So we're going to make it a background. So if we want to set it as a background, we're going to go Design, and we're going to Format Background. We're going to find Picture, and we're going to go File, and we're going to find the file that we downloaded from Google. And it's going to just insert it into our background. You then might have to change the size of the car to make it look right. So we've got one here, and we're going to do our other one. We can do it here. To make it easy for myself, again, I'm going to use these checkpoints. So I'm going to have question 1 as our first one. Question 2, we're going to put here. And then question 3, we're going to put in the back left. And then we might want to add a finish line question. So let's find a finish line. We'll just go with the basic square. And it's the same process to make it move again. So we go to Animations. We go down and we go Custom Paths. You can then make it go along. Once it gets to question 1, we're going to double click and it'll go. Go trigger, and we want it to have the red car. So whenever we click the red car, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to move. We're then going to repeat this process. So we go Add Animation, scroll down, Custom Paths. We want to start where it finished, so you can see sort of the silhouette of the car where it's finished. We go round, down to question 2, and remember you have to link it to the trigger. So if you want to see where it is, you go to your animation pane, we're going to link, click of, red car. So the second time we click it, we're going to repeat the process for our other one. So we're going to add animation, custom path, we want to finish there, we want to trigger it. This time we want to trigger on the solid red car because we want to make sure that they both move as independent pieces in our game. Again, repeat that process, and we get it to go all the way around. And link it to our solid red car. So you can see here, it's split up the triggers. So every time you trigger the red car, these things are going to happen. 1, 2. When we trigger the solid red car, 1, 2. So when we come to play our game, group 1 might get their first question right. Our car moves to this bit. Then second team get their question. They get to that second one. Again, it'll fly around our board. And it's literally that simple to create these games. You'd obviously repeat the process for question 3 and your finish line question. You can add animations. You can make the track as complicated as you want. The possibilities are literally as big as your imagination is. So if you wanted to create a huge game, like the Monopoly game, for example, same sort of process, obviously just takes a bit longer, a lot more fiddly animations. Start off with something simple like this F1 racer, and then challenge yourself. Try and make something more difficult. You'll find the kids really enjoy the interactive sections of the games, and it gets them really involved in the competitive side of their revision. And they often forget that they're actually revising because they still think they're playing the game. Any questions, feel free to ask.